Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Shannon. I wanted to talk about fibroids. That's something that I've never had to talk about before. I was gonna record outside, but because it's bright, but the air conditioner is a little loud, so I'm gonna go inside and hopefully I can find some better light. Hey guys, so I'm back. It's Shannon. I'm doing my vlog leading up to my open myomectomy, which is a surgery to remove fibroids from the uterus, and it helps to preserve fertility. Basically, they will remove your uterus, they'll take out the fibroids and then put it back in. And that's just, praying that everything goes well. I honestly really didn't even realize that I had fibroids until I want to say 2 years ago. So I just, after COVID or during COVID, so 2021, I got the COVID shot and I wasn't even on my cycle, but I immediately started bleeding. And I thought that was odd. Then I got the second COVID shot and I had just come off my cycle for like 5 days and I started bleeding and I'm like, why am I bleeding? It was the weirdest thing. So I didn't think much more of it. But then my next period, I just had heavy bleeding and lots of blood clots. And I was like, something's not right. So this went on all the way from like July 2021 all the way up until now, and it's January 2024. So I was seeing my OB doctor again. Like I said, I never even knew I had fibroids. So she was like, "Oh, they're just fibroids. I can give you birth control for this." So I started doing my research, and everybody's like, that's just a Band-Aid." And I mean, I'm talking about the blood clots were really bad. Then I had very low energy. I went to the doctor again. She's like, "Oh, you're anemic. You need to take iron pills." But I still felt very tired. And so I was seeing her for almost 2 years. And the only solution she gave me was birth control pills. And I just, knowing what I know, I'm like, I don't want to take those pills. It's just putting a Band-Aid and it's creating bigger problems just from my research. So finally, she started saying, okay, well, you can take Motrin 800 3 times a day. Then it was tranexamic acid. They literally gave me, I want to say 30 bottles of that stuff. I have it. I'm going to show it to you. And I'm like, why would they give me this many bottles of this stuff? Hold on, let me show you. And bottles of pills. Look at this. Look at this. They gave me all of these, saying that to take this tranexamic acid 3 times a day, and it will help stop and slow the bleeding. And I was like, why did they give me all of these pills? And I was like, I'm sorry about the noise. It's dramatic. But I was like, and so I started taking the pills. But the tranexamic acid, it did help slow the bleeding because the first 3 days of my cycle, I couldn't even leave the house. It was that much bleeding. But I noticed on the back end after using this stuff, I would get terrible blood clots, horrible cramping. One time I was out far away from my house. I went to a restaurant. I couldn't even go in. The cramping was so terrible. And I was like, it helps one thing, but it's making it worse. So I talked to my doctor again and I was just like, I need to see a specialist. And she was like, oh, I don't know if your insurance is going to cover that. And I'm like, this is my life. Like, I need to talk to somebody. She's like, well, I gave you tranexamic acid. I offered you birth control. You didn't want it. I gave you Motrin 800 to take 3 times a day. I said, so I can mess up other organs? I was like, this is serious. I said, you've done nothing for me. So she called herself having an attitude. And I said, yeah, well, I'm going to just have to file a complaint. Next thing I know, she called me back like 15 minutes later. Oh, I was able to get you a specialist. So I live in Los Angeles. So I ended up getting a specialist at a big hospital that I did a lot of research on, and everybody was like, it's a good hospital. It's LAC USC. Now they've changed it to Los Angeles General Medical Center. And that's where I'll be having my surgery in 2 days. So when I see the specialist, she said, wow, I bet you've really been suffering. Oh my God, these fibroids are so big. I can feel it. Long story short, I did MRI. I did ultrasounds. I found out that my uterus is measuring 22 weeks pregnant. I'm going to show you me. I don't know if you can see. I don't know. They said I'm measuring 22 weeks pregnant. And I was just like, okay. That's crazy. And then they were like, yeah, we feel like we can do a open myomectomy for you. Do you still want to have children? And I was like, I really do, but I'm not married. I don't have any children yet. And some woman was even like, oh, maybe you can just get a hysterectomy. And I was just like, I'm in my 30s. Like, I really don't want to get a hysterectomy. I want to have a family. And so my doctor was like, well, I will support you if this is what you want to do. I will support everything. So let's talk about your options. So she gave me the option of a myomectomy. And the reason she did because, and I'll insert my my MRI to show you the fibroids. Right now they see 3 big ones. So one is, the biggest one is almost 10 centimeters. And then I have 2 smaller ones that are 6 centimeters each. And like I said, I'll insert the scan so you can look at it. And I have been wrestling and going back and forth whether I was going to do this operation or not. I was like, because I'm originally from Michigan, I'm like, well, maybe I'll move back to Detroit and then I'll have more family there and I'll just find another doctor. But my insurance is pretty good here in California and the surgery is covered. And I actually do like the doctors. And everybody was saying you should get a second opinion. But once I was doing my research and actually talking to the doctors, I felt confident about it. So I just pray to God that everything goes well, because I've been on so many forums, especially one on Facebook, Uterine Fibroid group, support group is like 40,000 women in there. And I didn't realize this was such a common thing until it hit me. I knew that they always said Black women, like 80% have fibroids, but I didn't know until I knew. And so now I'm on here just to share my journey, that maybe this can help someone else, that if you are with a doctor or OB who's just kind of giving you the runaround or just pushing you to the side or acting like you don't matter, you have to advocate for yourself. Like, I just got sick of it. I was just like, I don't have a normal life. My periods are lasting 15 days sometimes. Like, I have to plan my life around my period. And it's like, I'm dreading it coming. And I do feel this thing in my stomach. You know, I feel like it's getting bigger. At first I could move it side to side. Now it's huge. So although I am nervous and a little scared, I know that God got me. And if you believe in prayer and praying, just pray and ask God to give you guidance and to show you what to do, because this is not normal to have bleeding like that. It's not normal to pass those huge blood clots. And I ended up in the ER plenty of times, and they just looked at me like, I mean, I don't know what you want us to do. So I ended up getting iron transfusions because my hemoglobin was so low. One time I went to the doctor for a regular appointment, it was 5.4. Once they were like, you need a blood transfusion right away. So they rushed me to the triage, the ER. But then once they drew my blood, they realized that it was like 8, but they were like, we still need to give you a transfusion. So here I am, fast forward 2 days before the surgery. Also, I went to my pre-op appointment for the myomectomy a couple days ago. So I'll share the vlog from that with you guys. Also, I'm getting ready for surgery. So I've been buying stuff, like listening to everybody who has done it before, buying comfortable pajamas and all that stuff. So I'll share that stuff with you as well. But yeah, this is just the beginning. And depending on how I'm feeling, I will also try to post like my recovery or just tell you how things are going. So stay tuned and be encouraged that it's going to be okay, that you're not the only person dealing with this, and that there is help out there, but you just have to be diligent. You just have to advocate for yourself, and you just have to pray and ask God to guide you. I've tried to like change my diet, like eating fruits and vegetables and juicing. I've like cut out dairy, and I'm a dessert person, and it's like, I know the sugar is bad for us. So maybe that has something to do with it. But I've been doing my research, and it's like the first open myomectomy was performed in, guess when? 1840. So what is it? And then I had an aunt who was just like, you know, so after talking to different aunts and stuff, they were like, yeah, a lot of people in the family have had fibroids. My aunt tells me she got her whole uterus removed in her early 30s. I didn't know that. She's 75 now. And she was saying at that time, her doctor told her, he said, one thing about a woman, you're going to give birth, whether it's to a fibroid or to a baby. So you choose. And that made me feel so bad, because it's like, I'm in my 30s and I'm closer to 40 than I am 30 at this point. And I'm like, you try to wait on the right partner. You try not to just have kids just with anybody. And then now I have to go in there and get a C-section with no baby to show for it. And it is disheartening. And I know that there are other women out there that can relate to this. But I think we just have to have the faith and be encouraged that there is hope and that this too shall pass and that there's light on the other end of the tunnel. And that's what I'm praying for. So stay tuned as I document this journey. And if you're going through this, if you have any questions, anything that I can answer, I'll do my best. And anything that you want to share, or if you just need encouragement, that's what we're here for, because we can't do life alone. And fibroid journey is kind of silent journey, because people may not know you're going through this. It's just like, oh, you on your period? Oh, it's just, oh. And it's like, no, it's like being tortured month after month. And it's like my period would come every 28 days like clockwork. And every 28 days, here we go again. So, yeah, stay tuned, guys. And thanks for watching.